You're watching a presentation of New Haven football on the Charger Sports Network. Today, it's the dawn of a new era on the campus of the University of New Haven as we get a chance to speak with the new interim head coach of the New Haven Chargers in Mark Powell. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the beautiful Peterson Performance Center. Garrett Ollie joined alongside new face of the program and head coach Mark Powell. Firstly, congratulations
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
such a big honor, and obviously the past 3 months or so have probably been a little crazy for you. But going along with that, take me through the last 3 months or so.
Yeah, so just really looking at it as an unbelievable opportunity. You know, I'm originally from here. You know, I went to high school across the street at Notre Dame West Haven, so it's a full circle moment for us. You know, the biggest thing for me is just, you know, going 1-0 every single day. It's been obviously with the transition and the, you know, getting moved into a different seat, it's been a little chaotic, but I'm a defensive guy, so it doesn't bother me too much.
Well, kind of going along with that, I mean, not only crazy for you, it's been probably crazy for the university, the guys on the squad, the transition period, right? It's not something necessarily you were expected to be a part of.
Right.
But getting a chance to be the guy that leads this team and leads this program to the Division I ranks, kind of take me through that a little bit, getting that honor and how that kind of feels.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling. You know, I have to shout out my wife and everything that she's done for me the last couple of months because it's been a lot on her as well. So, you know, shout out to my wife, Steph, for being able to handle all the chaos. But, you know, the biggest thing for me is the alignment of the university and everything that we're doing. You know, we're going, you know, full speed ahead. You know, we are taking this thing to the next level, and we're leveling up in every single thing we're doing. You know, as a university, as an athletic department, everything we're doing is the Division I way now, and I'm excited to be able and humbled to be able to lead the charge for our guys, because our guys here, and obviously with the Peterson Performance Center and everything, we've operated as a Division I institution for a while now. Now we're just adding the tag to it, and our kids are ready for this moment, and they're really, really excited to be able to put it on display come August 29th.
I think that's been very easy to see that this program and the success it's had throughout the past couple of years, definitely this jump was something people expected, right? Firstly, before touching on a little bit deeper on that, obviously the family ties. I mean, firstly, honoring your immediate family right now, but in New Haven, family means a lot. And going across the street with your grandfather at Yale, being able to kind of carry that on, it's got to be something that you look at as one of the coolest things.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling. You know, I walked the sidelines at Yale when I was a little kid, and being able to do this at the University of New Haven, where I used to come to games, and when I was at Notre Dame West Haven, I went to New Haven football camp. So this is a surreal moment for me, and the biggest thing that I'll say is, you know, my grandfather had a saying, and it was, you know, you can't treat players like chess pieces and move them around a board and expect them to play hard for you. You got to build relationships with them, get them to love you, and they'll run through the wall for you. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that our guys have that relationship. They feel that from us every single day. And, you know, the wins and the losses will take care of themselves if we do that.
Yeah, and that family mentality, this brotherhood, it's something that been here for a very short time, but it's something that I've figured out very quickly. It's New Haven. It's the guys that had been there 20, 30 so on years ago still care as much as they're part of the team right now. Building that, and especially through a transition like this in the current landscape of collegiate athletics, building that sense of community. Kind of to speak a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the biggest thing is you know, it's New Haven versus everybody. You know, that's really the mentality that we have here, and that just doesn't go for football, that goes for everything, right? And we're going to compete, and it goes into our core values of our program and what we're going to do, and core value number 4 is compete in life, right? And that's what we do, and that's what everybody before us has done. You know, they've competed. We're blue collar, where we work really hard, and our alumni base has been ready for this, and they've supported through the transition and everything. And that goes into why our team slogan is our team slogan, and fast, right? So we're going to play fast. We're going to do everything fast, but that also stands for family always stays together. And our guys have really bought into that, and that's what this program has been for, you know, generations. It is a family. It is a brotherhood.
Yeah, I was going to go right into that. The fast, not necessarily the speed. Obviously, that's a part of it, but what the F stands for, the A, the S, the T. Where did that come from? I mean, part of it is this community that's been built here, but you instilling that on day one.
Yeah, so the biggest thing for me is it's a trust thing, right? So, within a family, you're going to go through hard times. The ball's not always going to bounce our way, whatever way it is. And being able to have something that we can always have a foundation on and be able to look back on and say, hey, we can look to our left, we can look to our right, and we can trust one another, and we're going to stick together no matter what happens. That's why our team slogan now is fast. And when I was originally hired as a defensive coordinator, I immediately put that into the defense because, I have a saying that, the distance from the ball at the end of each play demonstrates how much you care and how much you love your teammates, and that's fast. That's staying together, that's tackling together, that's doing everything together, and now it's going to, go throughout the entire team.
Defensive guy, let's talk football.
Yeah,
this
let's do it.
This is the fun part. I mean, immediately once we heard you were going to be the head coach, obviously knowing you were going to be a part of this program as a defensive coordinator, the philosophy though, that defensive mindset, athletic director Devin Crosby said it a ton during the first couple weeks. This is a guy who is going to be fun for this program, especially that blue collar, that work ethic, and the defense hopefully being where it's been in the past couple of years. Kind of just touch on your philosophy defensively and then for this program as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing for me defensively is, I always look at it and we want to make sure that we're going to be aggressive in every single thing we do. We're going to be fun to watch. We're going to get after people. We're going to blitz. We're going to do some different things to get guys put in the best possible spot to be successful. That's, within my mentors of Bob Shoup and Don Brown and some of the guys that I've been able to learn from. The biggest thing that I always look at is, what are we really, really good at and how do we master it? Right. And our guys, we are going to be different on defense here from years past, but the standard stays the same. Our guys fly around to the football, they tackle, and, pursuit is a big piece of that, right? You can make one guy miss, you can't make 11, right? So, the biggest thing is having that mentality of fast and being able to tackle well and pursue together. And, we're going to blitz. We're going to pin our ears back and we're going to get after people. And, in today's day and age in college football, the offensive guys usually have the pen last, right? So I like to make them make those decisions under fire as much as I can.
Yeah, and especially just that aggressiveness. You're seeing it more and more in college football. You're seeing it more and more in football in general. It's part of that to put the threat on the offense, right? It's such a pass-heavy game now. Sending 7 guys after the quarterback. I mean, it's just a numbers game at that point.
Right.
Kind of talk about that a little bit. Defensively, you're trying to match maybe different stylistic teams than you've seen in the past.
The biggest thing I'll say is you want to make sure that, A, your players can handle it. That's the first thing defensively that I always look at. We can have the best schematics in the world. If we're not great teachers as a defensive coordinator, as assistant coaches, we're not going to be able to do those things. So the first thing is obviously being able to be a great teacher. And then schematically, you want to be able to put people in the right puzzle pieces. I tell the guys this all the time. You have to look at football like a puzzle, right? How do I fit into certain areas to make the defense successful and put stress on the offense? And if you look at it that way, then it's, we make everything look the same, then post-snap chaos. We bring them to the house, we drop everybody. So being able to do different things like that, I think the kids have gotten excited on it because it is a different style of defense than they've played here in the past. But like I said, they've done an unbelievable job here in the past defensively, and we're going to keep that standard.
No matter who you are, you like to get after the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's what it is. I don't care if you're a corner or if you're a D-tackle.
Right.
You want to go after the quarterback. Going a little bit into this season as a whole, I mean, we touched on different teams in the past, different system maybe a little bit. Biggest thing is completely different schedule. And it's been a program with a lot of success over the past couple of years, but it's not the same teams you've been playing. Part of that, a little bit of excitement, I'm sure. August 29th, a big game to highlight. Just kind of go into this schedule and games that you're looking maybe more fired up than others, but I'm sure all of them kind of pop out.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'll say is, we'll never, ever look ahead. Right now we need to go 1-0 on August 29th against Marist, and that's what our focus is, and then we'll continue down the road as we go. Obviously for us, the kids are excited because, I've said it since I got put in the seat I'm in now is, we're playing for history this fall. We really are. We're going to be, no matter what happens, right, and we're going to have success. But no matter what happens, this team is going to get remembered forever, right? We are going to be the first Division I team in New Haven history, and we're playing for history this fall. So we're really, really excited about that. But as far as the schedule goes, our schedule is going to be jam-packed, and it's going to be fun. But right now our focus is going 1-0 on August 29th.
I mean, the 77 Classic. Going into this team as a whole, guys on the roster, I mean, losing a lot of big additions, well, big guys from last year. I mean, the offense is going to look different, and you're losing one of the most crucial players in the past couple of years on the defensive side, Joe Vitale, but the aces, Maynard, like, you're never going to be able to replace those guys, but trying to retool and what has kind of been looked at before camp, because we're obviously not there yet. We haven't seen guys in pads, but your thoughts on this roster currently going into the summer and eventually into summer workouts?
The biggest thing I'll tell you about anytime I've gone in anywhere and taken over a defense or a program or anything, I always look at what were they good at in the past, what do we want to do, and how do we mesh it together. That's how I believe that you become successful, and it's not just a rebuild, right? It's a reload. And for us, as far as personnel goes, we've done a really good job identifying some spaces. Obviously, we graduated 17 out of 22 on defense. That's a lot of players, no matter where you are in the country, right? And we've been able to come out of it with some really, really good players out of the transfer portal, and some young guys and local guys that are going to, be expected to play when they're younger. And we've had some guys that are kind of waited their turn, being able to learn from guys like a Joe and everybody, to be able to set themselves up for the lights now, and it's going to be up to them whether or not they can seize that opportunity and make the most of it. And just so you know, Joe's not completely gone, so you guys will find out soon enough, but we're bringing him back on as our Director of Player Personnel and Development, and he's going to be around the program a lot, because a guy like Joe is a guy that you don't want to just go away. So, we're really, really excited to have Joe come back as well, and offensively, we are going to be different. We're not going to be the system of the past. I'm really, really excited to bring our offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, Tim Zetz. He was the offensive coordinator with me when I was at Austin Peay in 2019 when we made the run in the FCS playoffs. We won the first championship there since 1977 and made the run that we did in the OVC. And he was in the NFL the last 4 years. So he was with the Packers, the Bears, and most recently with the Raiders. Very close friend of mine, and really, really excited to join the staff here and hopefully get his family up here after the season so we can, get Kellen and the boys up here as well. So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, exciting additions, to say the very least. Bringing NFL guys in, but also go back to Joe, anytime man of the year, conference man of the year, and everything he was able to do at this university. He was a heartbeat type guy for this program. Back a little bit to you and your stops previously. I mean, you just mentioned Austin Peay, Mississippi State, Fordham, playing at Lafayette, Patriot League, SEC, OVC. These are good conferences. No matter where you look at, a high-quality football being played. What have those previous stops kind of done to build you for this situation?
The biggest thing I'll tell you is the mentors that I've had have been unbelievable. Working for, when I was at Lafayette, working for a guy like John Luce, who's now at Army. He was my defensive coordinator there, student assistant underneath him my senior year, and he's an unbelievable mentor to me. And you go down the list, Andy Talley at Villanova, Billy Crocker, who's now a head coach, working for Doc Holliday at Marshall. I've learned from some great people. Art Link at CNU. Then I went on to go work with Joe Moorhead at Mississippi State and Bob Shoup there, and then being with Mark Hudspeth initially at Austin Peay, and then Scotty Walden coming in at Austin Peay, and working for a guy like Joe Conlon down at Fordham. All of those guys have been in my shoes, so I've talked to all of them since being put in this seat. And the biggest thing is that they tell me is just be you, be true to who you are. And that is really what has made me feel better about the entire thing is I'm just going to be me. I'm not going to try to be anybody else. I'm not going to be anybody of the past. I'm not going to be anybody of the future. I'm going to be me. And the guys, I think, respect that. I don't like gray area. I'm very transparent and being upfront with our guys. And that's what I wanted as a player. And, that's what I've got out of all of the stops that I've been at is I've learned a lot of schematics, obviously, on the football side of it. I've been in 8 different defenses and been able to be a part of a lot of different things. So being able to know what I believe in after that, but also know what really good people are as well. Being around in a lot of different spaces, you meet a lot of good guys. You meet guys that you don't want to be exactly, but you also understand what it takes to be a great teacher, a great coach, a great person. And that's something that I really believe why I'm ready for this moment.
I'll leave you with this. August 29th, you guys are going to hop on the bus. Hopefully, a lot of New Haven Charger fans will be taking the trip with you. You guys are going to be able to run out in Poughkeepsie. First Division I football game in this program's history. How's that moment going to feel for you?
it's going to be surreal. I'm honestly, I can't even put it into words. The biggest thing I was talking to our team and just letting them know, don't look past this. It's a process, right? And you got to take in every day. And that's the biggest thing for me is, I'm going to try to make this the best Wednesday that it is, and then I'm going to try to make the best Thursday, the best Friday, and so on every single day. And that's what our guys just need to focus on right now is we need to go 1-0 every single day, and then that moment we'll be ready for come August 29th. And then hopefully we'll be able to sit down with you and let you know how it feels, and it'll feel really, really great. So
I'll tell you, 1-0 in interviews with the Charger Sports Hour. Coach.
Awesome.
Appreciate.
I really appreciate you having me on, and go Chargers.
Amen, amen. Coach, appreciate your time. August 29th, the Chargers open their season in Poughkeepsie, New York. The 77 Classic versus Marist and the Red Foxes. Once again, thank you to head coach Mark Powell, as this has been a presentation of the Charger Sports Network.